You know when they say the Lulu is the Sululu. Hi, hi, hi. And see from the title of today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys how I relocated from Nigeria to the United Kingdom. Think of how I started the process, the schools I wanted to go with, the school I ended up going with, my school fees, scholarship, accommodation, visa application process, and the likes. Like, I'm going to spill all the tea in today's video. So if this is something you're looking forward to, or this is something you're interested in, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. And while at it, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos like this in the future, you'll be the first person to be notified. So without further ado, let's head right into the business of today. Some of the things I will be highlighting in this video are your documents, because I mean, even before you start thinking of the schools you apply to, you need your documents. Then the school list of the schools you may want to like consider, the school fee. Also, you also want to think about the country of your choice. Is it Canada? Is it United Kingdom? Is it Australia? Is it USA? Like, the ball is in your court at this point. Then you also want to think of the school fees. Like, will you be able to afford the school fees? Also, you also want to think about the cost of living in the country or the location where you will be residing. Is it something you can afford? Is it something you can't afford? What are like the nearest options, right, that you can get if you don't end up going to this particular location? I just want to like highlight this thing so that you know what you will get in this video even before you delve into it. So now, the first thing you need, which is like the cocoa of the cocoa, is your documents, right? So in terms of documents, you need your transcripts or your certificate from like your undergrad degree. You need your statement of purpose, which is the reason why you want to go to this school, why you want to study that course. And at the end of the day, your statement of purpose has to be convincing enough, most especially if you want to do your master's in something that isn't related to like what you did in your undergrad. Take for example, let's say you studied agriculture in your undergraduate degree, and now you say you want to do your postgraduate degree in, let's say, like marketing. Like, they are two different things and they are actually at different end of the spectrum, right? So if you write like a statement of purpose at this point for this kind of course, you have to ensure it is convincing enough. And also you need like references. That is like, some schools require academic reference and I think professional reference. Then also you need your YX certificate. So because I'm currently in the United Kingdom, what you need is like your, I don't know if all schools use like WAEC or they require you to have like your IELTS, but for the school I am currently in, what was required of me was my WAEC results, just to like show that okay, you actually passed English when you wrote your WAEC exam. Another document you need is your TB test, but this is going to like come like long after you've like gotten your admission. The important documents you need to get like your admission is your statement of purpose, WAEC result, which is going to show as your proof of English, transcript, or your certificates from your undergrad degree. Reference, right? For my school, they required 2 academic references, and that was what I used to apply for my school. Now, I studied agriculture in my undergrad degree, and I'm currently doing a master's in digital marketing. You may want to agree that these 2 courses are like, they are quite different, but what I would say gave me like an extra edge or gave me like an extra advantage was that even before I applied for this course, I had taken courses on digital marketing. So I taken like courses on Coursera, what's this other one, Udemy, right? Just like broaden my understanding on digital marketing. And before, and the crazy thing is, I actually took these courses even before I knew that I wanted to like study digital marketing as my master's degree. Now, let me give you guys a backstory. I actually knew I was going to go for my master's, right, at some point. but I just didn't know when, and I just didn't know how soon it was going to be. After my undergraduate degree, discussion had come up in my family where they were like, okay, you need to start considering going for your master's. It didn't like compulsory, right? I had like the liberty to say yes or no. But because I also wanted to like do my master's, I said okay. I was looking at courses related to like agriculture because I studied agriculture, and in my final year I niched down into like soil science. So I started looking for courses related to like soil science in schools that do like agriculture master's program. But I kept looking, but I wasn't getting anything. And this is where the whole journey of me doing my master's in digital marketing came. In school that particular day, I was preparing for my final exams, and a friend of mine slash like my hostel mate came up to me and she was asking me questions related to like, marketing, that she wants to grow her business and all. And because I already had like knowledge on digital marketing, like social media and all, I was sharing my knowledge with her. Then this lady was there that day. She was also reading, right? And she came to me and she was like, sorry to like interrupt you guys, but do you do anything in digital marketing? Like, have you worked in a digital marketing setting before? And I was like, no, that I haven't. Then she said, oh, that you may want to consider it. And at that point, that was when the epiphany came in, and I'm like, okay, maybe you should shift your bearing from agriculture into digital marketing. And that was how I started searching for courses related to digital marketing, like schools that were offering digital marketing. You guys, like a backstory, because you people may wonder like, how come she studied agriculture and now she's doing digital marketing? Like, it is really, really crazy. But that was how like the story started. This one is quite interesting, right? Right from time, I don't like cold. Even at home, like when the AC is on or when the fan is on, I get up to like put it off because I just don't like cold. At some point, Canada wasn't an option for me. Don't you want to consider Canada, blah blah blah? And I'm like, I don't like cold. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So like put myself through that pain. Not now, probably later in the future, but currently I don't think I want to go for my master's in Canada. But now I was still open to like looking for schools in Canada. So anytime I go online to like search for schools offering digital marketing, I'll look at Canada and I'll also look at the United Kingdom. At this point, I was looking for schools offering digital marketing in Canada, and I wasn't getting anything. And at that point, I got to realize that most schools in Canada do not offer digital marketing in their postgraduate studies, right? And the only school that I think I got then was like a private university. And guys, you would know for a fact that a private university, the tuition was going to be on a high side, and the fact that I was an international student as well, it's just it didn't make sense to me. So I'm like, and then the school they won't offer the 2 years where you can, after schooling, where you can stay back to work. Like, no, like, it doesn't make sense. That was how I shifted from Canada to the United Kingdom, and I started looking for schools that were offering digital marketing in the United Kingdom. The amazing thing that I want you guys to also know is, take for example, you want to do a course and you've been searching online and you've not, like, you didn't see anything related to that course. Now, the thing is, some schools don't call their courses digital marketing, right? They may say digital marketing and something, or they may call it international digital marketing and something. So to make it easier for you, let's say you've seen a university you want to go to, click on when you go to like the website, there is always like a section where it is going to show like undergraduate, postgraduate. Then you can go through like the courses under the postgraduate, look at the modules, right, to see if, even if the course you want to go doesn't have like the course title, they may have another course that has another title but still has like the course modules may be related to what you want to do, right? So that was what I did. This journey started probably like 2020. This is 2023, right? This journey started 2021. I had done like my research on the schools I wanted to go for. At this point, you guys will call me crazy because how will you say you want to do your master's in the United Kingdom and you only apply to just one school? You know when they say the Lulu is the Solulu? At this point, I was so delusional and I applied to just one uni. So prior to that time, I had reached out to like the school, I think in 2021, thereabout. And I told them I had my work results, but my certificates wasn't ready at that point. So I spoke to them and they said, oh, the sun is going down. So guys, if there's like a shift in the what's it called and everything, please guys just bear with me. I had reached out to them, like their Nigeria representative, and they said, oh, that the application has closed. You actually need to like have like a certificate before they can proceed with like my admission and everything. We move again next year. So next year was 2022. No, next year was 2022. But even prior to that, I and my brother, God bless him for me. We had created like a spreadsheet, and it told me to like just list out like the schools I want, like the schools that were offering digital marketing. So I'm going to show you guys what it looked like. So I had listed out like different schools in the UK that were offering digital marketing, the different way they call their digital marketing course. So some schools you see digital marketing and international relations, digital marketing and blah blah blah. But when you still go to like the course module, they were still like related to like digital marketing. I did that. I wrote out like the school, the course, the duration of the course, the school fee, if they were offering scholarship, and if they were offering internship or placement. Now, I am someone that is so big on internship and placement. I just feel like it just gives you like a better way of entering into like the system, and that was why I did like the internship that I did back in Nigeria as well. I was so key on the placement and internship. Now, some schools don't offer placement, and I'm like, okay, you don't offer placements, you're off my list. So at the end of the day, the school I settled with was University of Salford, which I'm currently in. When we collated the schools, I wrote out and I said, okay, this is the school I want to go for. I went through their website, and at the end of the day, you also want to ensure that whatever school you are going for, right, they actually prioritize international students, because you're leaving your own country to come to another country. Your school fee, your tuition is like on the high side. So you also want a school that I'm paying the money, but then I also want you guys to like hear from me. I went with University of Salford, and honestly, throughout the process of my application, it's like a smooth and easy ride. So after I selected the University of Salford, it was now time to like gather all my documents. All this was happening between, like I told you, the journey started in 2021, but it became like very active 2022. So 2020, after I collected like the list of schools I wanted to go for, after I selected like the school I actually wanted to go with, I started gathering my documents. I remember when I went to like my supervisor to request for a reference letter. I remember he told me then, was like, like, are you actually sure? Like, why do you want to go for something in digital marketing? You actually studied agriculture. Why don't you go for something in agriculture? And I had to convince him that I honestly and I genuinely enjoy digital marketing, and these were my reasons. Because it was like, why don't you just go for masters, and you may also consider PhD, and at the end of the day you start lecturing. But I'm like, I don't really want to lecture. Like, convinced him, and he gave me like my reference letter. That was the first one. I needed two, so I went to my level advisor as well, Dr. Afini. My supervisor is Dr. Amefili, is an Igbo man. So I went to my level advisor, Dr. Afini, as well. I told her that I needed like a reference letter. Guys, I was doing all this November, December. So I got my reference letter, which I'm super grateful for them. Thank you so much. Oh God, my brother is calling me. I said I was doing this process like within November to like January, right? And I had to like make sure everything was ready before I leave for camp. So I had collected like my statement of results, my my statement of result, my reference, I had written my statement of purpose, right? What else did I use? My WAEC results, right? I had everything ready. I had scanned everything. So I got to Lagos because I was serving in Lagos, and I was supposed to leave for camp January 28th, which was on my 28th birthday. So I had gathered all my documents and everything, and I scanned it, right? Because definitely it is the scanned copy you're going to open. I had created like a folder, right? And I gave him access to it. I had created like my profile on the school website, and my profile name, my password, and everything. I gave it to my brother. I left for camp on the 28th, and before that, like I said, I was communicating, emailing like the school representative who was like in charge of Nigeria. I reached out to him, and I'm like, okay, this was even back as at 2022, like probably like December 2022. And I asked him, I'm like, sorry, please, I just want to confirm, when is like the new application process going to open? And the thing about my university is people rush that school like agege bread and akara. If you're from Nigeria, you understand what I mean. Like people rush that school like agege bread. So sometimes if you are slow, they will tell you application is closed for this course. So to know if you're going to apply this time around, you'll be among like the first 10 people that will apply. Right, so I asked him, and he said, okay, the next application was going to open on the, I think, 11th or 14th of February 2023. Right, so I told my brother, Egbon, this is the time it is going to be open. So please help me just submit my document. Right, so I told him, and I was still in camp. I think the application opened on the 11th because I remember I was still in camp. I left camp on February 14th. Right, so I told him, and he applied for me on let's say February 11th, because I can't remember, it is between 11th or 14th. So he applied on the 11th. He sent in like my application on the 11th of February, right, 2023. I'm looking down because I've written down like the dates and everything. I don't want to like miss out on anything. On my conditional offer on the 16th of February. Interesting, right? Future is no editing here, guys. So I forgot to mention that I got a £3,000 scholarship from my school fee, and that was because I finished with a second class upper in my undergrad, as well as if you finish with like a first class as well, you get this. So I got my conditional offer on the 16th of February. Now, your conditional offer is like, okay, you're accepted, but you're not fully accepted, because until you get your unconditional offer, they can withdraw the admission and give it to someone else. So for you to get like your unconditional offer, you need to pay like a deposit of £5,500. That is for my university. I know some schools go as low as like probably like 1,000, 2,000. Some schools even go as high as 9,000, 10,000 pounds as deposits. Like, why do you want me to see that money? I did that. I paid like my deposit. School has like this option of either paying through, I think probably Form A or Flywire, right? So I used Flywire because with Flywire it is quite faster. So I did that. After I made the payment, I sent an email again. Like it was like back and forth with like communication. And one thing I love about University of Salford is they were like they were on their game. Like you are sending an email to them, they are responding. They may not respond that day, but within 2 to 3 days, you'll get like a response. Okay, I'd made like my deposit of like my 5,500. This is it. They said, okay, no problem. So they sent me like my unconditional offer on the 28th of March. Guys, this is where 28 came in again. I'm sorry guys, I had to like change like my location because the lighting there wasn't like, it was getting like, it's as if the sun is setting at this point. So guys, on the 28th of March, I got my unconditional offer, and at that point, like I already had like a place in school. Now after this, the next thing I had to do before I could get like my CAS was to do my TB test. So the crazy thing is, at this point, there was no time again. With TB test, your TB test is valid for I think like 6 months thereabout, and I didn't want to like do it on time and then it expires and I had to like pay another money to do another TB test, because the TB test was like, so now the thing is, I did mine at a private hospital, because with the other hospitals, like probably like government hospitals, guys, the queue was a lot. And at that point, I was working. It just didn't make sense for me to like, you're working and then you're going to like a place to queue for a long period of time. So that means that day I wouldn't be able to like walk. So I'm like, no. So I did my TB test at a private hospital, which is like actually recognized by like the UKVI, right? So the name of the hospital is St. Nicholas Hospital for the TB test. And now another thing about the TB test is you have to distraction, sorry guys. You need to like, your TB test has to come out is it negative, like negative to anything, right? So at that point it is like a win-win situation, because you know, in Nigeria, right, or even in Africa, like most of us don't really go for checkup. We only do checkup when we are sick or when there is like a cause for us to do it. I have not done anything related to TB test before. Nobody in my family has tuberculosis, so why do I want to go for a TB test? I remember that day when I went for TB test, before, when you fill the form online, you book a date. Now, I was so lucky that I got a date that was early, because, guys, even that date, it was just God's grace. Because I remember I was doing this with my brother and we were checking. There was no slots, guys. There was literally no slot. And I remember calling the hospital to ask, okay, like, when is the next available date? Like, is there any closer dates for this, or even is there priority? Well, they said, oh, we are sorry, there's nothing like that. Went to the website and we were checking, and the lady was like, there wasn't any slot for the next week. So we went on the website and we checked, and when I say God was with me throughout this journey, God was with me. So we checked and we saw a free slot for probably like 8 or 9 in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna get this. So I booked in and I got this slot. So I remember going to the hospital that day for my screening. Now, before you proceed into like the x-ray room, you will see a doctor, and the doctor will tell you these are the things. If we notice anything that is anything that is not related to tuberculosis, but it is like we really need to like do something on it, you may not get your TB test, your TB result, right? So they asked me, do you want to proceed with this? Are you okay? I said yes. Then they said, okay, you need to sign and say, yes, I agreed to this. So I signed. I went in for my TB test. I think 2 or 3 days later, they said my results was out. At that point, I was my TB test. And when I got my TB test, the next stage was to send my TB test result to my school to get my CAS. I got my TB test result June 13th, right? And I sent it to school and requested, I told them, okay, that now you guys can proceed with my CAS. Like a proof showing that you have the funds. You're going to use like sort yourself in terms of accommodation, in terms of living, everything when you're in the UK. Have that for 28 days or 30 days. Yes, I think so. But I think so. It is either before you get your CAS or before you apply for your visa, one of the two. So I did that. I requested for my visa, for my CAS, and they sent me my CAS on the 27th of June. So I got my CAS, and the next stage was for me to like apply for my visa. I applied for my visa. For your visa application, like everything you need, all the information you need is on the UKVI website, right? Like you don't need to ask anybody for the information. Just go there. Just follow the step one by one. Throughout the process, right, I did the application myself with the help of my brother. Like we didn't pay any agent to do anything for us. We did everything ourselves. For my visa, you send in like your proof of fund, your TB test. Yes, I think TB test. Then other documents as well. And I remember when we were doing this application, like we were looking at it like, this is it, are you sure this is it? Because with the visa application, if you make a single mistake, guys, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you might have gotten like your admission, done everything right, but the moment you make a mistake when you're applying for your visa, guys, you may end up not getting that visa, and that means you won't be able to like go to school that period. That means you have to like probably defer your admission till the next intake or the next year. So I did like my visa application, everything. I think I did my visa application July, either July or early August. I think it was August. I made payments July ending, right? So make payments for visa, NHS. I didn't want to like go to the visa office. I think there's a visa office on the mainland. I stay on the island, and the visa office on the mainland, see here guys, people be much there. So what I did was I had to like go to the visa office in VI, which is a little bit expensive than the one on the mainland. So I did that. I also paid for like, I think probably for the lounge something, and that is because I wanted to like go in. When you use like the lounge, they answer you on time. Another advantage about that is when you do that, I've forgotten the name of, probably it's not priority. It's not priority, because priority is like 5 days. You get your visa within 5 days. That was not what I did. But there's another one where you do your biometric that same day you go to submit your visa. Okay, the day you go to like submit like your documents and everything. Now, during your visa application, you have the chance of uploading your documents online, or which is like self-service, or they do it for you, right? So I uploaded all my documents at home. I scanned my documents, I uploaded it before that day. That day, they requested for my payments, my proof of payment, like that you've paid for the application and everything, and I think some other documents, I can't even remember. But like I said, you see this on the UKVI website. I did like my biometric that same day, everything, like they took my capturing and everything. Now, the reason why I said this is better is because you do like your capturing and everything that same day. While for the other option, you go to submit your application and they call you back to come for your capturing. And guys, I didn't have that time. Like, I didn't have that leverage of like wasting time and all. So I did my capturing that day, and they said your visa will be out in 3 weeks, right? So 3 weeks, I started counting. My visa was supposed to come out August 28th or something thereabout again. Guys, this visa didn't come out. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I did everything right. At that point, my brother would call me, are you sure you didn't make any mistake? I'm like, I didn't make any mistake, right? At that point, I want to say they were scared for me, but even me that was expecting the visa, I was not scared, because I'm like, God got me. Like, it won't bring me this far to like leave me, or to like, no, it is not possible. Like, it is not possible. I was waiting, and I remember when it passed like that 3 weeks mark, I had to like call them, and I'm like, oh, that I did my application on this, I went for my biometrics this day, and I haven't gotten like my visa yet, or I haven't gotten like a BR, because when your visa application is successful, before you get like your visa, like your passport with like your stamped visa, you get like an email telling you, okay, your BRP is ready to be collected in like your location, which is like the UK, right, at the nearest post office. So I didn't even get that. So I called and I'm like, this is it. And they said, okay, do I want them to okay, guys, so the thing is, this is like a paid call, right? For this call to go through, you need to like have like an international card, right, like a US card. I made that call that day, and they said, okay, do I want them to like escalate it? And I said, please, I don't mind. When that was done, and the thing is, most times when they need like extra documents for your visa, they'll probably like send you an email, and this occur in situations probably when you've left school, like your uni, you've done your undergraduate for a while, and now you want to go for your postgraduate, probably like 5 years or 6 years, or let's say you've even done like your masters before, and now they'll ask you, why do you want to go for another masters, right? So, but my case wasn't that. I've not done my masters before, right? I left school like last year and I'm applying this year. So like the gap is not even, so it just wasn't making sense. So they said okay that they will escalate it and all. So on the 31st, yeah, I think on the 31st of August, my visa came out and I'm going to insert the video here, guys, for you to see. I woke up that morning and I got like an email telling me, okay, my BRP is available and I can get it, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, when I saw that email, I was like, it's no, you have your visa already. One amazing thing about the visa process is you can track your process on the UKVI website. Okay, so when guys, I think I missed this place. So when you go for like your visa application, that is where they collect like your passport. So they take your passport from you, and that is when you start tracking like the 3 weeks mark. Right, so they took my passport. I actually forgot that you're actually going to submit your passports, guys. So I started counting. So on the UKVI website, you'd see, oh, your application has been transferred to something. Your application has been received. They've sent it back. So guys, I kid you not, for like 2 weeks, my application, it was showing that my application has been transferred to like the international body, blah blah blah. Those that will approve like your visa. It was stuck there. I'll keep checking. Today I'll check, tomorrow I'll check. This thing did not move to like it has been received back to UKVI. I'm like, God, what is happening? Right? And I remember that time I told like someone and we joined our faith together and we prayed, right? And when we prayed, like a few days after, on the 31st, that was when my visa came out. That came out, guys. It was now time for me to book my flight. I don't book my flight though prior to this period. See, don't do that. Don't be like me, because my school was resuming on the 11th, and as at 31st, I hadn't booked my flight. So when my visa came out on the 1st, I booked my flight, and guys, the price of this flight, I cannot put my mouth to say it because it was ridiculous. I had seen people who had booked their flights probably like 6 months or 8 months prior to when they were traveling, and they paid 300,000 naira for flying from Nigeria to the United Kingdom. But guys, when I booked my flight, the price choke. I booked the flight. During this period, guys, I was still working. I was still doing my 9 to 5, right? So I booked my flights and I started getting ready, and it was at this point that I actually missed my mom, right? For those that don't know, my mom is dead, right? And I'd seen videos of people who, when they were traveling, their mom would be the one to go to the market for them because they had other things to do. So their mom would go to the market to do like the shopping and everything, get the food stuff and everything, do the packing for you. At this point, I'm like, Mom, this is the period where I actually do need you. But I just had to like wear my big girl pants. I was in Lagos, right? I went to the market, bought like the little food stuff I could get because, guys, there was no time. I kid you not, there was no time. I worked until I left Nigeria on a Wednesday. I stopped working on a Tuesday, guys. It was so crazy. So I did that, and I flew British Airways because honestly I just didn't want to fly Qatar Airways, even though at that point you have the option of like laying over at Doha. Is it Doha, or there's one place where they used to lay over Shah. I just didn't want to like stay that long. With British Airways, it was more like a 7 or 6 hour flight to London, because from Lagos to London, from London I took another flight to Manchester. I'm currently in Manchester. Just let me fly straight, I beg, and just forget about it. So I got into London on the 7th of September. Now let's talk about the immigration process. So when I got into London, now I don't know if that is how it is for every flights, but for British Airways, I remember before I left Nigeria, I had asked at the counter at the international airport that if I land, where am I going to like meet with immigration? Is it London or Manchester? So they told me it is going to be in London. So I got to London, I passed through immigration, and they I already had like my document, because like they said, when you're traveling you need to have like all your documents in your carry-on bag, because they cannot, before you even get your luggage, it's going to be after you move past immigration. And imagine when they ask you for like important documents and you're telling them it is in your, like, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get the visa. You're not going to get the visa on arrival, right? So they will not stamp your visa, right? So I had like my documents, my certificates, proof of everything in my bag. But when I got to like, I had prayed to God. I'm like, God, I want you. This process has been like easy peasy right from the beginning. Is white, and what he asked was, oh, that what am I here for? And I said, oh, I was here for school. Like I came for my master's program. Then he said, what school? Then I said University of Salford. Then he said, what course? Then I said digital marketing. Then he said, how many years? And I said 1 year. And he said, okay. Then he stamped my visa, he stamped my passport, and he said, oh, I can move on to get my luggage. Like, it was so easy. And I went ahead to like I went to the other side to like get my flight to my connecting flight from London to Manchester. Now guys, I don't know anybody in London or in the United Kingdom. Okay, fine, I know somebody in the United Kingdom, but where he stays is like 2, 3 or 4 hours away from me, right? My flight. So I knew that wasn't an option, living with him. Like, and honestly, the truth is, I really wanted to like, really wanted to like stay alone. I just wanted to like take on some responsibility myself. I mean, sometimes when you live with people or when you live with family, you, I'm sure you guys understand. But when you live alone, there are some things like you grow up in another dimension. And I really wanted that for myself, because I started looking for accommodation back in Nigeria, even before I moved here. So I looked at different platforms, Zoopla, Spare Room, a lot of them. There is student accommodation as well, Amber Student, True Student, and all, right? And at that point, one thing that I also wanted was, I didn't want to share toilets with anybody, right? I'm okay with sharing like the kitchen with someone, but the toilet, I've done that in uni and my undergrad, and I just didn't want that again, right? So I was actually particular about it. So I did like my research. See, this process, it was like back and forth. So eventually I got like a student accommodation, although it is not the school accommodation. It's a private student accommodation, and I paid like my first month's deposit back in Nigeria before moving. So when honestly, I didn't want to like stay in an Airbnb, because guys, it just doesn't make sense. Coming to another country where you don't know anybody in your location, staying in an Airbnb, then you now start looking for accommodation. Then you now start, it's a long process. And because I came alone, I didn't come with like my spouse, because I don't have a spouse yet. So I came alone, and it's a different thing if you're coming with someone. It makes it easier. When I land into the country, I'm just moving straight into my accommodation. So when I landed in Manchester on the 7th, I couldn't move into my accommodation because they said it is going to be opened on the 8th of September. So when I got in on the 7th, I had to like stay in. I'm sure you guys, I'll add the video here. I stayed in this accommodation on the 7th. What's the name of that accommodation again? Travel something. Travel lodge. It is quite affordable, like very, very affordable. So I stayed there, affordable and conducive, if I must say. So I stayed there on the 7th, and on the 8th I moved into my accommodation, right? So I stayed in a private accommodation. It's a studio apartment, right? So I have my bedroom and my kitchen and my toilet in my room, which I'm super grateful for. So yeah guys, that is it. My journey of moving from Nigeria to the United Kingdom, the process. Guys, so that's it. Do not forget, like I always say, that you are enough and you matter, and honestly everything is figureoutable. My name is Itunuoluwa. But before that, if you've watched till this point and you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Like, literally, what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos like this in the future, you'll be the first person to be notified. My name is Itunu and I'm a YouTuber currently based in Salford, Manchester. So see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.